welcome to CraftingCatz tutorial video on how to make signatures to go inside of a junk journal cover. We're going to be using this cover that we made during our last video on how to make a junk journal cover. Now a signature is a bundle of pages, so you'll need to gather some recycled papers of all different variety. We're going to fold each paper in half so that we'll have a fold in the middle. We're using some wrapping paper, some tea-dyed copy paper, some book and magazine pages, a couple of old handwritten letters, and some printed note papers as well. We don't need to worry about the size of the paper for now, but think about whether you want the paper to be folded the short way or the long way for your journal. And we really love this fox image, so we want to be sure that it's right side up, so we're going to fold it the long way. Also make sure that any printed pages are right side up if you want it to show that way. You can even fold several sheets at once if they're all the same size. Now we have all of our pages folded and we want to decide how they're going to stack. You can do this any way that you want, but we like to alternate printed pages with plain pages and smaller pages with larger pages. We just want to sort of mix it up, and you can do it whatever way you think looks best. So now we have all of our papers stacked, and we're going to make 5 signatures. So we need to make 5 bundles of paper. Try to get an even number in each of them, but it's not too critical if you have an extra page in 1 or 2. We also want to make sure that we have a larger full-size page on the outside of each, just because it makes them much easier to put into our binding when we get to that point. So now we want to make sure that our pages are the right height for our journal cover. So we're going to use the cover as a guide and a ruler to make sure we can tear a fairly straight line. We want to make our edges a little shabby, so we're going to tear off both the top and the bottom of most of our sheets. Some are small enough already that they don't need to have any edges torn. You can tear multiple pages at once if they're all the same size. Just make sure you're not messing up anything in the middle. This page, we're just going to tear off the bottom edge because we like the numbers at the top of that ledger sheet. Some of our oversized pages will not get torn. Because we want to fold pockets in them, which we'll show you here in just a minute. It's always easier to tear from the folded edge of the paper. So for this large music sheet, we want to fold a pocket, so we're just going to fold it up at the bottom. And for this large piece of wrapping paper, we're going to tear the top and bottom instead of folding a pocket, just because it's really lightweight and it's not quite suitable for pocket material. Again, we can tear more than one sheet at a time, just making sure that the ones in the middle are going to get torn where we want them. We also want to cut some of the pages, so we're going to use our cover as a guide and go about a ½ inch shorter than the height of the cover, so we'll have clean edges. Here's that fox image again, so we're going to cut the bottom off because we want the fox to be right on the front of the page. Some pages won't need to be cut because they're already the right size. And you can cut multiple pages at once as well. Pattern in the center of this tea-dyed paper, so we're going to cut the top and the bottom off. Also, we thought we wanted as much of the text and images on this book page as we could get. So now we have all of our pages the right size, top to bottom at least. But we need to make sure that they're the right width for our back cover. We're going to use the ruler again just to tear our pages in a fairly straight line. Doesn't have to be perfect. We want it a little shabby on the edges. Again, you can tear more than one edge at a time if you want to. Make sure it's going to fit in without binding when it folds, and then we can use the first signature as a guide for signatures that we're going to do after. Now our wrapping paper sheet, we left it long so that we could fold it over and make some fold-outs with it. So we're just going to tuck those in and make sure they fit under the edge of our ruler. And our music page, we're just going to go ahead and rip off those edges. We'll show you how to make sure that the pocket stays down later. This page in as well, we're not quite sure what we'll do with that, but we'll probably figure it out later. Our 5 signatures, and we just want to flip through our pages, make sure that we like how they look, make sure that all of our printed pages are right side up. We can always change the way they stack if we like, but this will be the final check before we move on to the next step. So anything that's not right side up, we want to change. Make sure that our fold outs are going to work properly. And that's our 5 signatures to fit into the cover that we made last time. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you for our next video on how to bind them into the cover.